for an artist, we're looking for our work to be seen under the greatest spotlight. I was born and raised in Oakland, and we would field trip to the Oakland Museum. But the work that I saw in the Oakland Museum didn't reflect the Oakland that I grew up in.
To be recruiting artists from the Bay Area to express these artistic works gives the art industry a voice.
It's a lot better reflection of the ideas and the visual arts of our community.
It's important to give opportunities to people that are part of the fabric of this city.
What's so thrilling about the forward thinking of the Golden State Warriors and organizations like sports and the arts is that they're actually evolving the concept of what a sports venue is.
A lot of people think the Chase Center is the Warriors basketball, which it certainly is. But it's going to be many more things.
It's about the Bay. It's about the people that live in the Bay, and particularly the youth that live here. They're the future of the Bay Area.
Because we're helping, it feels like we're including small parts of ourselves.
Art and sports are very similar in that same feeling of wanting to uplift people and make them feel a part of things and important to the creation of those things.
It's almost surreal. I'm a fan, and now my work is gonna be there, so come on.
It takes determination and perseverance to build a career for yourself, to develop your technique.
My work somehow inspires somebody else, then, it's doing its job, because when I get inspired by something, it's a hot potato. I try to take my inspiration, put it out to the world. Hopefully somebody sees that, gets inspired by it, puts their little twist on it, puts that back into the world, and it keeps going like that.
Chase Center is not only a sports venue, it is a cultural institution that is a direct reflection of its people here in San Francisco and in the Bay Area.
San Francisco has what we think is an amazing law, where 1% of your construction budget has to be devoted to public art. There's a couple ways you could approach that. One is you consider it an obligation and check the box. The other is the way we chose, which was to really embrace it.
The Chase Center Art Collection features artwork from an organization called Sports and the Arts, also known as SADA. This women-owned organization helped Chase Center source and acquire one-of-a-kind art for the building.
This project was a passion project. We believe creativity is the most unique aspect of being human. Creativity inspires, provokes, and drives positive change in the way we think and live.
This project was truly a collaboration between Chase Center, SADA, Adobe, and even the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. The museum loaned 2 pieces from its collection to Chase Center, a Noguchi Play sculpture and an Alexander Calder sculpture that hangs in the main lobby.
Very unusual for an arena, especially a sports arena, to feature such world-class art.
I think it's fantastic to have art in all kinds of unexpected places. Having art in a sports arena where people may not be expecting to see it is fantastic. It may add unexpected value to their concert-going or game-going experience.
There are 33 artists featured in the Chase Center Art Collection, and over half of them are from the Bay Area, including this Oakland native.
My name is Milton Bowens. I'm a fine artist, and I was born and raised in Oakland, California. I used to scribble on the blank pages of dictionaries and encyclopedias, and when my mother would open them up to help my brothers and sisters with their homework, all you'd hear through the house was, "Milton!" But I think that's probably why my work is text-driven and information-based. I deal with a lot of history, and I try to combine those elements into visual storytelling. My process in creating art might be a little different than the normal process of most artists. I treat all of my work like I'm filming a video or a commercial. So the minute a concept comes into my head, I journal it down, and I basically build a storyboard. So it keeps me grounded as an artist and it gives me direction, and it helps a great deal. See, for an artist, we're looking for our work to be seen under the greatest spotlight. And I have to say, I belong to 6 museum collections, but there's no collection sweeter than being included in this one for the Warriors.
You know, the way I paint, there's no cheating. What I bring to the table is just hardcore dedication. I can't cut corners. You know, if something's wrong, it's, you know, everybody will see the mistake. I just see the pixelation as a way that most people see images now. They just mostly don't realize by staring at a screen, it's just an image made up of thousands and thousands of tiny little colored squares. I wanted my paintings to kind of tie into this like modern way of remembering images or recalling images. It's mostly through your phone. Most of these paintings I do are places that are very familiar with me, that I pass by kind of thousands of times, either from childhood until now or a street I walk every day. It's always going to be the same kind of corner or store, but with the transgression of time, there's different memories associated with this certain image. So I chose the Chinatown neighborhood. I wanted it to have that really old-timey color palette where it's like a kind of like a film noir, and I wanted it to kind of have the feeling of like a Friday night after work where you're gonna go meet up your buddies for happy hour, and that excitement to just be in the city and be around friends and going to have a good time.
For each artist, the medium varies, but the process is one of the most important elements of their work.
I use varied media that I construct and deconstruct to create layered images. My work focuses and incorporates aspects of printmaking, painting, and drawing. The most important aspect of any attempt at creating a work of art is the process, and that is what I cherish most. The overall concept of the piece is an abstract depiction of San Francisco music culture. I realized that the most interesting and impactful moment of the music culture occurred in the mid-60s and 70s and was defined as the San Francisco sound. It made us think more about ourselves and our relationship to each other. The Chase Center is not only a sports venue, it is a cultural institution that is a direct reflection of its people here in San Francisco and in the Bay Area. And as an artist, I feel responsible to articulate and bring attention to those elements that are occurring around me. I am so proud to be part of the Chase Center art collection and this project.
That pride also runs deep for Adam Feibelman, who has been living and working in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
So basically what I do is cut stencils or cut paper, which is working reductively, taking a full sheet of paper and cutting holes in it, either to spray paint through or just to display as a piece of art. What I do is I either stack them up to make them photorealistic, or I cut the same shape over and over again so it's a wonky pattern.
And that paper pattern gets digitally traced and later cut from aluminum for fans to enjoy along the plaza. Feibelman's piece is called Pathways and traces the ball movement of 12 classic Warriors plays, spanning from Wilt Chamberlain's NBA record 100-point game.
He's got it. 100 points for Wilt Chamberlain.
To the moment Klay Thompson broke the NBA's single-game three-point record with 14 threes.
Klay takes a dribble, now the three, got it! An NBA record for Klay Thompson, 14 threes!
I guess I want people to take away from the piece that everything is art. Sports are art. I hope that they take away a feeling of energy, the energy of history, and the energy knowing that they can go out and practice hard and accomplish what they need to do as well. And because that's what it should all be about, art. Art and sports are very similar in that same feeling of wanting to uplift people and make them feel a part of things and important to the creation of those things.
This segment is brought to you by PG&E, proud community partner of the Golden State Warriors. This past month, straight from Italy, 14-year-old Giole was granted a special wish to have a one-of-a-kind experience at Chase Center. He began the day enjoying Hooptopia and even got to meet members of the Golden State Warriors, including his hero, point guard Stephen Curry. A professional painter for over 50 years, Bart Forbes has worked with all sorts of sports organizations, ranging from the Olympics to the PGA Tour, and now the Warriors.
I've done a large amount of work for just about everyone in sports over the years, it seems like. In the beginning, when I first got the call about the Warriors project, I was very excited because I'm a big basketball fan, and the Warriors are particularly significant team of this era, and the opportunity to paint things having to do with their championships appealed to me a great deal, so I was very excited. And my typical process is to go through photo reference and then began to start sketching in very small 2-inch by 2-inch sketches of just compositions that might work and subject matter that might work. Then, based on that, I develop small drawings that I think will work best, and in each case they approve the sketch that I chose, which is rare and something I appreciated very much. The Warriors were very great to work with. I try to pick a point of view that maybe isn't often seen. That's hard to do in sports because we've seen it all, but there's generally some point of view that it's a little unique to the average viewer, and that's what I look for.
And while Forbes looks for unique perspectives with his art, this particular painter uses a unique tool to create hers.
I'm not a classical painter. A classical painter would take a brush and try to lean more towards photorealism, but in my case, I predominantly paint with a palette knife. I am a contemporary representational artist. The reason why it is representational is because you can actually see what it is. Like, it's not abstract, totally abstract. You don't have to make out the figures. You know that that's a person or a car or a building. Contemporary because I like my paintings to show motion and fluidity and a little bit of looseness so that I enjoy painting without exactly trying to represent what I see. The painting itself is a 44 by 80 inch painting. I started looking at pictures for me to come up with a concept to develop into a huge painting. For me, I wanted it to show emotion, to show joy. I wanted people to see on the faces of the fans the effect that the Warriors were having on us. When I found the picture that showed me that, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And so I gradually build the values until it looks like a person or a hand or a shirt or whatever I'm trying to paint. To have my work seen by Warriors fans and Warriors themselves, like, we love the Warriors. I feel that it's very important for establishments like that to invest in the community because we need to show that we support each other. So for them to be recruiting artists from the Bay Area to express these artistic works that show fans and things that capture the essence of the Warriors, it's good. Sometimes you could go for months without selling any piece of art, and then sometimes an opportunity like this just comes your way. And then every other thing makes sense. And you remember all the nights that you were on your canvas just painting, or all the opportunities you applied for and you got turned down, and then when things like this happen, then you remember that everything that happened before prepared you for this one moment. It's for me, it's almost surreal.
The Chase Center Art Collection has fulfilled multiple dreams for Bay Area artists, including this California native.
My name's Casey Gray. I'm a Bay Area artist working with spray paint and hand-cut masking techniques. I started making stencils just because I've always had an affinity for spray paint. From there, I sort of realized that this was exciting. My work didn't look like everybody else's anymore, and it felt sort of the truest to my own interests. The process starts with gathering source imagery and then creating a digital sketch for the work, which I then reference for when I'm actually painting. From there, I cut everything out with an X-Acto knife and then paint layer by layer, rendering their image until it's complete. It's really cool that they're using mostly local artists for this project. Puts money back into the community, and it inspires people to support the stadium, the team, and the arts in San Francisco. Specifically, what I created was like a collector's case of Warriors memorabilia, souvenirs, and other things related to the team, from Al Attles to Steph Curry to Chris Mullin. I like to use symbolism and objects in order to tell stories, and in this way I'm sort of telling the story of the Warriors' history up to this point. I grew up in the Bay Area and have lived here almost my whole life, so of course I've been a Warriors fan since day one. It's exciting for me to play even just a small part of the Warriors' future moving forward. The group of artists that they chose for this project are an exciting bunch, and I'm lucky to be a part of them.
For Brian Barnett, his artistic journey began on public transportation in San Francisco.
I was really just a studio rat. I loved art every day. I would take the Injuda into town and have my little sketchbook. I kind of developed this style that has letter form technique, and it's kind of like from sign painting almost, like sign painting gone freestyle. But really, you know, taking like all things that inspire me from life, and so anything can really come out in the music that's playing or ideas that I'm having. There's so many things that influence my artwork: music, movies, all this kind of stuff, books, and then just regular experience. The concept that I presented for this project was the Warriors coming back into the city and taking the city and using it as the playground, the city as the court. The Warriors have a history of playing at Kezar. They have a history of playing at Cal Palace. They even played at Bill Graham Auditorium. They played in San Jose. So they've been playing all over the Bay Area. So I wanted to keep it San Francisco and also Bay Area oriented. But now they're back in San Francisco. I wanted to highlight San Francisco as the playground. I try to take my inspiration, put it out to the world. Hopefully somebody sees that, gets inspired by it, puts their little twist on it, puts that back into the world, and it keeps going like that. And so that's how I feel like what art is for and what it's about. It's just to walk into the arena and see my work, it would be very nice.
One of the most well-known pieces at Chase Center is a work of art called Seeing Spheres by Olafur Eliasson. These spheres have become a cultural landmark since Chase Center officially opened in September.
Today is the opening, not just of my artwork, but actually of the whole stadium, so it's very exciting. The artwork is 5 very large steel spheres that have been sliced off, you could say, and there is a mirror on them. I always look at art as a way of sort of being explorative, to find something that you haven't seen before.
It is impossible to describe. When you walk through it, you get hundreds of different images.
You know, I very much hope that, you know, kids and families and friends and people who are meeting up here, they'll just somehow both formally and informally get involved with this work of art.
Since its opening, people of all ages have enjoyed the beauty of seeing spheres. And just down the street in the Mission, there's a group of artists committed to enriching the Bay Area with collaborative murals that celebrate culture, unity, and history. They're called Presida Eyes, and they are led by this woman.
My name is Susie Cervantes. I've lived in San Francisco for over 58 years and have enjoyed creating art all that time. In terms of the mural movement, that's what I got involved with in the early 70s with the Mujeres Muralistas, and in 1977 founded the Presida Eyes Muralists Association. What we're doing now is kind of a collaboration with our community, with the students that we're working with the other artists that have been active with our organization for a long time, to continue that practice of collaboration.
I have been working with Reseda Eyes for over a decade. In any of our projects, it's really important that we bring in the youth because they're what's going to be the catalyst for change in the future.
I was actually stoked when I heard who we were working with, so I was kind of scared at first. I was like, I don't want to mess up anything.
It's been a lot of good work, fun work, getting to know more of my classmates, and it's been exciting.
It's a mosaic based on the Bay, all the aspects of it, the culture, the life.
The center is the focus with a young girl and a young boy who are jumping for the ball. So that represents the youth and the possibilities for their future. And then on each side, you have the Golden Gate Bridge, which represents one side of the bay, and then the Bay Bridge on the other side of the bay, and bridging those two together, making them one bay.
I'm third generation San Franciscan. We're huge Warriors fans in our family, so it's pretty exciting.
My dad loves the Warriors a ton, so he was very excited about this project.
My grandfather is a big fan. I haven't told him, but I'm sure it'll knock him off his feet.
As I see the work we created, I'm proud of it because I see a small piece of myself helping the community out.
I hope that they can see themselves in it. It's for the Warriors. We're thinking about the Warriors. We're excited about the Warriors. It's about the Bay. It's about the people that live in the Bay, and particularly the youth that live here, and how, they're the future of the Bay Area. And this is really to honor them and their future.
This place had to represent the best of what the Bay Area had to offer.
The artists that I've met here, your pride in being a part of this comes through in your work, and I think it's going to come through to everyone who has an opportunity to view this for decades to come.